You're listening to Saturday Morning Media. And now, back to our show.
Saturday Morning Theater proudly presents The Tales of Deputy Guppy. Return with us now to the thrilling days of not too long ago, when the West was wild and the rivers in the West were even wilder. Luckily, there was one fish to maintain law and order. One fish to reel in those who dare disturb the peace and tranquility of Driftwood Gulch. One fish to stand for truth, justice, and honor in the untamed rivers of the Wild West. Deputy Guppy! Today's adventure? A tough scrape. When we last left Deputy Guppy and his pal Ringo, the two had found themselves at the wrong end of the guns of Simon and Tyler, two ranch hands who, it turns out, were responsible for the rustling of 100 head of Linus Stoddard sea cattle.
These two just couldn't keep their noses out from where they didn't belong, couldn't they, Simon?
They sure couldn't, Tyler. If they just minded their business a little longer, everyone would have been happy. Linus would have the trout to blame for his cattle going missing, and we would have a decent grub stake to take us to Mexico. But now, the deputy and his roly-poly friend here are going to be floating belly up because we can't risk you telling Linus it was us that stole his cattle.
At least we still get the sea cattle and the money that'll come from selling them.
You don't think Linus will know that you two took his sea cattle once you turn up missing?
We'll be too far gone to care. Now you two just hold still while I take your guns.
I don't think you'll be able to take my gun.
Oh? Why's that?
Because it'll be in my fin.
What? Oh!
Golly, nice shooting there, Gup. You winged them both before they knew what happened.
Thanks, Ringo. They're just wounded. I'll grab their pistols. Use that rope there on your saddle to tie them up.
Ooh, sure thing.
We were so close to getting away before you two butted in. Oh.
Oh, heck, I didn't do nothing. It was all Guppy's doing. And piece of advice for the future, don't ever try to take Guppy's pistol away from him.
He's not going to have much chance to try and take anyone's gun away, Ringo. Not when we put him and his pal Tyler here on the first train to Yankton.
I reckon you're right, Guppy. Say, I guess this clears the trout's name and all this rustling business.
That it does, partner. You know, from the beginning, I thought the whole idea of the rainbow trout being the sea cattle rustlers was a bit fishy.
Well, everything around here's fishy, Guppy. We're fish.
Well, I reckon you're right.
What's going on out here? I heard gunshots all the way up to the house. And why do you have Simon and Tyler tied up?
Linus, these two are your sea cattle rustlers.
What? My own ranch hands?
Yes, sir. They plan to light out tonight after dark, and you would have never seen them again.
But where are my sea cattle?
They're over in Briars Canyon. These two took them there last night. They made up the story about the trout rustling them to cover their tracks.
But the trout arrow!
That was fired by a trout. At Saudi. He's a friend of mine. He was firing it at these two to prevent them from stealing your livestock.
Well, I'll be. A trout. Trying to help me.
You want us to ride with you to Briars Canyon to get your stock?
No, I'll just get my other ranch hand Gates to help me. You just busy yourself with marching these two to jail.
Will do, after a quick stop at Doc Sturgeon's place to get them patched up.
Good. And Guppy?
Yeah, Linus?
Thank you.
Just doing my job. Come on, Ringo, help me get them up onto their horses.
Ooh, sure thing. Say, it's still pretty early. Think Aunt Pike's flake bread will still be warm by the time we get back to her place?
I'm sure it will.
Flake's alive, but you say you only wounded him?
That's right, Aunt Pike. Then we took him over to Doc Sturgeon's, and once he got him all sewed up, we got him on the first prison car to Yankton.
Dear me, well, it sounds like you two boys have had quite a busy day.
Well, we sure did. Why, meeting my first ever honest-to-goodness trout face to face and then stopping those rustlers, well, it's enough to make a fish. Make a fish?
Well, make a fish what, Ringo?
Make a fish hungry for seconds of your delicious flake bread.
Seconds? Why, Ringo, this'll be fourths.
Gee, Aunt Pike, I reckon your flake bread is just so gosh darn good my stomach lost count.
Oh, Ringo.
And as Deputy Guppy and Ringo enjoy Aunt Pike's cooking, it's time for us to take our leave. But never fear, buckaroos. There's plenty more action ahead your way on the next episode of... The Tales of Deputy Guppy!
You've just listened to episode number 109 of The Tales of Deputy Guppy here on Saturday Morning Theater. This episode starred Kevin Berntson, Chris Sheets, Artie Esposito, Russ Walko, Michael Oosterom, and Grant Baciocco. Music for this episode by Dan Ring. Say, kids, there's a brand new building for your Driftwood Gulch action playset that's all ready for you to download, print, color, cut, and assemble. All you gotta do is head on over to SaturdayMorningTheater.com and click on the link to the free PDF in the post for this episode. This week you can build the Driftwood Gulch livery. Once you add this new building to your playset, we'd love to see a picture of it. Send a picture of your Driftwood Gulch Town playset to hello@SaturdayMorningMedia.com. And stay tuned for more buildings and figures coming with future episodes so you can build your very own Driftwood Gulch. Saturday Morning Theater is a production of Saturday Morning Media, and it's brought to you free of charge every Saturday morning. If you enjoy this show and the others available for free at SaturdayMorningMedia.com and you'd like to see them continue, there are several ways you can make that happen. You can tell a friend about the show, you can leave us a 5-star review on iTunes and we'll mention your name right here on the show. You can also support the show by visiting SaturdayMorningTheater.com, where you can make a donation or set up a recurring subscription. And now you can flatter us. Visit our website for more information. You can also visit our store, where you can buy items from your favorite Saturday Morning Media shows. Remember, your generosity helps support this show and the others from Saturday Morning Media, your source for family-friendly fun. Well, that's going to do it for this week. My name is Uncle Interloper, and you've been listening to Saturday Morning Theater. See you next time for episode number 110 of The Tales of Deputy Guppy. You've been listening to Saturday Morning Media. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.